Don't show the broken closet.
I will. I'm from Deventer, which is a small town about 100 kilometers east, and I lived there till I was 18. Then I spent a lot of time in Japan, and I studied in Leiden, which is a university town south of Amsterdam. But I had a girlfriend when I was 21 in Amsterdam, and all my friends studied in Amsterdam. So I spent a lot of time as a student in Amsterdam. So it's my city. But it has changed a lot since then. And basically, the problem that Amsterdam is facing is over-tourism. So there's too many tourists coming there, and some areas have become unlivable. For example, the red light district. So the red light district, during Corona, it was totally empty. Not one single person. Because no one lived there. It's only tourism. And suddenly that became visible. Suddenly we saw, oh wow, there's certain areas of the city that are completely dead without tourists. That are completely overcrowded when it's not Corona. So it's a very beautiful and exciting city. And it's the special thing about Amsterdam is that it's a world city. Everyone from the world you can find here. And yet it's a village. Like 1 million people for Europe, that's very small. Compare that to Paris or Berlin or London, it's nothing. It's really a village. And that's also what makes it, and the fact that you can bike everywhere, that it's so quiet. People always talk about that, they really like that, and I also really love that. And that it's so safe. Amsterdam is incredibly safe. And I've been to many dangerous countries where you were always under threat. And like in Peru, I learned to always walk in the middle of the street because you cannot be attacked from the side. And I still do that today, but I don't need to. That's a really cool thing about Amsterdam. Yeah, and I have many friends here. And right now, because there's so many tourists, I can run my B&B, which allows me to make film.
Waarom rende de muis? Omdat ze
Evlenmedim. Foş.
Og allir hinni halda að við sem að eltast við einhvern annan, en við erum kannski bara að eltast í skotta okkur svo allan tíma.
I'm just scratching the surface of different cultures and showing people just how it is. I don't want to impose my opinion on anything. And by asking this very open question, why does a bride run away? In fact, when I go to someone on the street, I will first say, imagine you see a woman in a wedding dress running through the street. Why do you think she runs away? It's such an open question that the answers are also very wide-ranging. And if you put the answers that are most revealing about a certain culture in a row, then the whole thing, if you have like 10, 15 people talking, it will really teach you something about a culture. But I think maybe more important is that it encourages people to place themselves in the shoes of a bride, of a woman of that age, and what her social and cultural realities are in different countries, because for many girls it's still the most important thing almost in their lives. Here in the West we kind of forget that because the wedding has become very unimportant. But yeah, I think that's very necessary. We have had the whole Me Too thing, you know. the world. I'm a very emancipated guy. You know, for me, men and women are the same. So, but in many countries, that's clearly not the case. So maybe that's people think about them. I did a Hindu, I did a Buddhist one, you haven't seen those. I did a Muslim one, and I did a Sikh one. So there were 16 countries so far. But yeah, I'm ready to do the entire world. Until I get tired of it. I must say, like, at some point I got tired of it. The last two I did before I started again, I did in Turkey and Bulgaria, and I only asked a few people on the street, which is why they don't work as well as all the others. And I did a lot of acting, and I tried something new. I tried to not have the scenarios of the people to be the main focus. But I now see, now that I've re-edited all 20 in the last couple of months, that it's the main core of the film are the stories of the people, because that's the most revealing about the culture. And the images of the brides are just decoration, basically.
I have to wait for a couple of minutes, and then I can upload the New York Bride again. I have 5 giga for the whole month. So I used like 1 month to little by little get to the 20 gig that I needed.
Yeah.
Without having to pay extra for Vimeo. Unfortunately, it's Vimeo, it's not YouTube. And I watched it on YouTube and I was disappointed.
Really?
YouTube does not do the same good job with the old mini DV. Like Vimeo. I think Vimeo does a very good job.
As a quality, you mean?
Yeah.
Ah.
It's much more grainy in YouTube. But maybe I just have to research better how to optimize it. I haven't really gotten into YouTube. I first want to get everything on video.
Unless you do what I tried in France, where you actually make a story to go through it on top of all those stories, and that will be the challenge, I think, for the ones I'm going to do now in Yogyakarta, Saigon, and Taipei, to get a really cool story. And it's always very stressful. Also in Lyon, I had 1 month, but the actresses were only able to play the day before I left Lyon. So I had everything done, but if they would have said like, "Oh, I'm ill," or something happened, then the whole month would have been worthless. I would have had nothing. So, and also, just an hour before that we started filming, I was in a coffee shop and they said like, "Oh, you got to come back together. The bride's got to come." So I changed the whole plot just just before we started filming. And that's because it's a total organic way of creating a plot when you let random people on the street give you the stories. And so you're dependent on whatever they come with. And the more you have, the more stories you have, the more you have to choose from, the better. So I'm just walking around day after day after day looking for people to interview. And the best place usually are shop owners. Because shop owners, when the shop is empty, they have nothing to do. And when somebody comes in, their instinct is to be polite, because you may be a customer. So, and shops owners are very different. They have a butcher is a very personality from somebody that sells shoes, you know. So you get a real nice cut of the population. So that's often where I start trying to get my scenarios. The weak point some people will find is that these brides are not real brides. You know, so it's not a full documentary, and it's not a full feature film. So what is it? I think that's the same with all my films. They're a little bit. I like this area where you mix documentary with feature film. First of all, because I don't have the money to make a real feature film, and I think documentary just makes it look very real. But also because it is a way of filmmaking that's not been explored very much. I like to do new things. You know? So this is exciting to me because I don't really know a film like I make. I've never seen anyone do what I do. I don't think, no. So that's really cool about it. So even though there are some weaknesses maybe in the film.
What? Yeah, why not? Thank you. I really like it actually.
It was weird. I remember that I would sometimes, because the cinema now is not so far away from here. It's an art house cinema. houses about maybe 250 people. But I would sometimes drink and then go at the end of the show and say like, hey, I'm the filmmaker. And just try to get some questions. That was fun. But yeah, it was also unexpected. And it was never my aim. The film was aimed for Peru, for a Peruvian audience. Not for, I never thought it would be good enough for Dutch cinema. But I think what they liked was that it had Peru as a theme, and Peru is hot, so it attracts a certain niche of film lovers. So I did. I have no idea how many people came. It's probably in Amsterdam, only a couple of thousand people come. You know, that's it. You get something on TV, 1 million people watch it. But it's only so small. You only do it. You really have to do it for the love of art if you're making films. So far, at least, that has been my attitude. And I'd love to make a film like for a bigger audience one day, but I have to come up with a new script idea first. I showed a film in a cinema or in a school. In India, I went to school to see what the audience thinks. Do they feel that I just showed you the Maghrebi bride, and I asked you, did I do it right? And you said yes. And why? Because all the scenarios are from them. They're not my stories. They're really the stories of the Moroccans that I've put in a way so that it flows. So this year I started filming after a couple of years and not doing anything, with an iPhone, because I didn't take my camera to Palermo. And the woman, Leda Parisi, who ran the Airbnb in Palermo, I showed her some of the brides, and she says, Kriss, we got to do one here. So she immediately started looking for a dress, so we got a dress. Then she found an actress, and she was a teacher. She was teaching Italian to refugees. And so I was there to learn Italian, and she didn't speak any English. So for 1 month, she lectured to me about Italy and Sicily. We watched movies, we drank wine together, and then she got all her colleagues, the other teachers, to come to the house and to think why the Palermo, the Italian bride, would run away from their wedding. And the stories were about mafia, about killing. It was the first country where I would go in a market and an old man would say she was afraid that she would get killed. I didn't have that before. So it was, again, it's like Palermo was opening up, and I got to understand the culture so much better again through this project. I was like, well, I have to do it again. I really missed it for many years. And that's the same. I became Mozambican. I became Japanese. I became German. You know, for a Dutchman, that's also challenging to have that weight of the Second World War always be on you. So all these things were very interesting training in empathy and in trying to understand other cultures, and ultimately also understand yourself, hopefully, a little bit better. So to be a filmmaker, you just have to film. So do it, and that now, because of camera technology, because it's so cheap, anyone can make a full feature film with an iPhone. There's no excuse not to do it. You have an entire team just in your pocket with great sound, great image, not intimidating camera, and it's 4K. You can put it on a huge cinema; it will still look good. So that's just great news for beginning filmmakers. It was not like that when I filmed with all my mini DVs. I still have like a box like this big full of mini DV cassettes. It was just a hell. You had to load them in. Now just with my phone, I just RAID into my Mac and off we go. Yeah, and it's always, the image is always perfect and the sound is almost perfect.